We did a little research and found that this is a historical method that has been used for a very long time. We are at the bottling stage and we've processed these 7 jars of syrup. We left the very bottom because what you'll find is often you'll have the sugar sand that settles to the bottom. What that is niter, or essentially nutrients that the tree sends up with the sap. A way to get this sugar sand out of the syrup without using a filter is egg whites. We learned this method from Tyler at Stuff and Such, and we'll link to his video and channel in the description. We'll be using this syrup only for our own personal use. We will not be using the syrup that results from this method for any sales. The method calls for 2 egg whites for every liter of syrup. So first I'll pour all my jars into this one so I know how much syrup I'm starting with. We ended up with 1.5 liters of syrup, so that means we'll need 3 egg whites. Just notice how cloudy this is compared to this filtered syrup. The eggs we have are from a local producer and they are tiny, so we are going to use 4 instead of 3. You need to mix it together cold so that the egg does not start to form chunks right away. And then turn the heat on to medium high. The next step is to bring this to a boil. You don't need to whisk it the whole time, but make sure you keep an eye on it. It's starting to come up to a boil now. You'll see all the egg whites are forming at the top. You want to let it boil for a bit and it'll foam up. The foaming brings all the sand to the top and into the eggs so they can do their job. During the heating process, I've been continuously turning the temperature up, bring it to a boil. I had it up to max and I just turned the heat back down to medium high. Okay, I think we're ready for the next step. If I move this around, you can see that the egg whites seem to have completely absorbed the niter, the sugar sand, and what we have is very clear syrup left over. The next step will be to remove these egg whites. For the large pieces, I have this cooking oil funnel, and for the smaller stuff, I have the cooking oil filter. So this is what we filtered out. This is the sand and egg mixture that we filtered out of the syrup with this method. And just look at how clear it is now. We lost about 400 milliliters of volume, which can be attributed to the niter or the sugar sand and a little bit of the syrup. But as a small-time producer, being able to save this 1.1 liters of syrup for personal use is great, and we're going to be continuing to use this in the future. We did a little research and found that this is a historical method that has been used for a very long time. Thank you very much to Tyler from Stuff and Such for pointing it out to us.